Earlier this week, Rockstar awakened from their hiatus, and we got to see some downright jaw-dropping Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay. The game had the polish and refinement of a Naughty Dog game, while simultaneously having the expansive open world one might see in a Bethesda game, all while wearing that signature Rockstar coat of paint so proudly. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that didn't just impress me, it blew me away. I have no doubt in my mind that Red Dead Redemption 2 will easily rival God of War for Game of the Year this year, graphically, story-wise, and gameplay-wise. Let's get down to why. Now, I know graphics don't matter in games, and some of the best video games of all time have graphics that are complete shit. And it probably shouldn't be my first point when making a video like this, but it's my video, alright? So just shut the fuck up, I can structure it how I want. The graphics in this game look downright fucking amazing. They're not just realistic, but they have this certain artistic beauty that is rare to see in any game, let alone an expansive open world, which we'll touch on in a moment. To think that this game is something we'll be able to get our hands on in less than a month is just insane. The game's art style is this sunset looking brownish tint in most areas. In quite a few games, this art style would end up making the game look downright ugly. However, the way it works in Red Dead Redemption 2 makes it look beautiful. It's not just the art style that impresses me, however, though it is something to be noted, it's the detail that Rockstar put into the graphics engine. The mud on Arthur's clothes after he's shoved to the floor, the depth of footprints in the snow, and the pools of light that radiate from the lamps, the way the light slips through the clouds in varying depths, the smoke emitting from someone's pipe. Less so the graphics and more the physics engine, but the way animal carcasses sway from side to side as you carry them. The level of detail seeping from this game is immense and breathtaking. These little things don't seem like much, but they all add to the immersion felt in this large, breathing open world. Meanwhile, there's this atmosphere that I think the game tries to emit. It's a warm atmosphere, as seen by the colour palette used. I realise I'm sounding like a connoisseur of video game graphics and art styles here, when in reality, when it comes to graphics, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Fuck. No, but in the game, you're obviously in a gang, and from what I've seen, that seems to be a very warm, friendly, and cheerful atmosphere, and you can see the way they've mirrored and represented that by using a lot of deep oranges and smooth lighting, pink skies, and dramatic sunset. It just adds to the overall feel of the game, and it gets the player feeling emotions that the developers want them to be feeling. We really do know nothing about the story for Red Dead Redemption 2, but I'm going to drone on about it for 10 minutes anyway. Alright, let's go. So, very clearly this is a prequel story to Red Dead Redemption, where you play as a senior gang member, Arthur Morgan. The trailer seemed to give us a rough idea of what to expect. This story is going to be about chaos of sorts, and since this game is still called Red Dead Redemption, unlike the other game in its franchise, Red Dead Revolver, the game is still going to keep with the first game's potent themes of redemption. Not only this, but there's something charming about a prequel story. To see where the pieces began and how they fit together, to see characters new and old at different points in their lives, like John Marston and Dutch van der Linde. Key events mentioned in the first game will be called back to here, and the pieces will presumably fall together like a jigsaw. I mean, like I say, I am completely making this up, and what I'm saying could be entirely wrong, but at least in concept, this is how it appears to me. The themes of good and bad, morality, the heralding of a new world, self-destruction, and personal justice are all returning in this game. Themes from a previous game that made Red Dead Redemption 1 one of the best games storytelling-wise that I've ever played. It's going to give the game some depth, some emotional investment, something to attach yourself to. The many layers of morality and law that were first exposed in 2010 are going to continue here. Now on to the best part, the gameplay. This is where I truly think Red Dead Redemption 2 has stood out the most so far. While we can't make judgments about a story we've barely seen, and graphics are fairly simplistic to speak about, The new gameplay mechanics is where I think Red Dead truly separates itself from other games of its kind and of its time. The biggest gameplay feature in any open world game is, well, the open world. With the type of game Rockstar were going for, many developers would have filled the world with nothing but sands, saloons, and tumbleweeds. But the game has an extremely wide variety of biomes. Swamplands, deserts, forests, lakes and mountains, towns and cities. The world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is more varied than any Rockstar game I've ever seen, including Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, a game renowned for its variety in its. The game features its own hub of activity, I suppose one could call it, and unlike many other games, this hub has its own atmosphere and feeling. Moving across the world as events force the gang to move the camp, from what I've seen, is a thriving place to get to know characters, settle down and enjoy the brilliant atmosphere the Rockstar have created with their masterpiece. For a game that looks to be non-stop, fast-paced shooter action, a place to wind down needs to be a place where the player can relax, and Rockstar appear to have done that well. The world and the player can interact with each other in a perfect mesh that resembles conversation. The player does something and the world responds, and the player responds to that, and so on. You could say I'm describing old games, but what I'm really talking about is the minor details in the open world, rather than how missions or the game itself plays. You have options. Those slight shadows of RPG elements are there, but not so much that it overshadows what the game truly is, or causes Red Dead to lose its own identity. The game has a level of depth not often seen in many games. The way different horses play in other ways depending on what it's specialised for, or whether it's in heat, the immersive reload and recoil, the ecosystem that interacts with each other even if you leave it completely alone. The game goes deeper than anyone could expect out of an action-adventure game, deeper even than what you might expect or see in many recent role-playing games. That's what sets a Rockstar game apart. While many other games are far too wide and far too shallow, such as Skyrim, or far too narrow and far too deep, such as Uncharted, Red Dead Redemption is striking that perfect medium of balance, just wide enough and just deep enough. It's proportional. We already know that we haven't seen the last of Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay. We're still to see missions, activities, enemy gangs, robberies, open world activities, and the sharpshooting system. Following this game's marketing since release has been an incredibly rewarding experience, and I'm grateful to Rockstar for doing it the way they have in basically teasing us before release. It's downright insane to think the game will be released in a matter of 2.5 months. Rockstar's last game was released in 2013 with Grand Theft Auto 5, and I have no doubt that Rockstar spent the last 5 years refining their game to be exactly what they want it to be. Rockstar pays attention to the details, to the little things, and they've never let us down once. Despite being one of the most successful publishers and developers of all time, they're not a churning factory for video games like Ubisoft. These games are handcrafted, with so much observation going to graphics, gameplay and story, fine-tuning aspects that many players won't even be able to appreciate. And that's why Red Dead Redemption 2 will be Game of the Year 2018. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for seeing more videos like this one. Follow my Twitter, Instagram and Snapchat, all of which will be in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.